Hi, it's really late and I've literally worked all day, but I wanted to do this very long book survey. If you do want to do it on your video, please just mention my channel. It would be nice as like an appreciation to me. It's very long, so it might be into two parts, but I'm going to start right now. First question is my favorite childhood book. When I was a kid, I wanted to read everything. I started reading when I was 2.5, but I love Judy Blume books. My favorite was, I think, As Long as We're Together. What are you reading right now? I just started today. I started Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it, but it's kind of interesting. But all of his books, like The Da Vinci Code and even The Lost Symbol, his newer one, it's like he puts everything into this skeleton. And it all sounds the same to me. I feel like I already read it. What books do you have on request at the library? I don't request books. Bad book habit. I think I hold on to books to read, like books in my to-be-read list in my drawer. The books that you really want to read, you almost don't want to do it right away because you don't want to get let down and you don't want it to end. So I have like all these books that I really want to read, but I never like pick those when I go to pick my next book. It's strange. What do you currently have checked out at the library? I don't have anything. Do you have an e-reader? No, I do not. Do you prefer to read one book at a time or several at once? I used to like pick up several books. Like sometimes I like to read a nonfiction book and a fiction book at the same time, and I like take breaks. But lately I only read one book at a time. Have your reading habits changed since this one doesn't apply to me? I guess I could say starting a vlog. I guess in a way I'm kind of aware of what people want to hear book reviews about and want to hear stuff, and I also learned about a lot of books just by having a vlog and watching book videos on YouTube. Least favorite book you read this year? Mirror, Mirror by Gregory Maguire. Favorite book I've read this year? I'm gonna say the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray. All of those books, Rebel Angel, Sweet Fair Thing, and I'm drawing a blank at the first book. How often do you read out of your comfort zone? Not often. I think when you're reading, you want to know that you're going to like what you're reading. So, what's your reading comfort zone? YA fiction, nonfiction, biographies and memoirs, and some historical fiction. Can you read on the bus? I don't ride the bus. Favorite place to read? I like to read outside. I like to read on the beach. I like to read in the sun. What is your policy on book lending? I don't really save a lot of books because I swap books, so I don't really care. If someone wants to borrow my book, that's fine. Do you ever dog-ear books? No. Do you ever read the margins of books? No. Not even with textbooks? No, I don't write in my textbooks. I take notes. What is your favorite language to read in? Obviously English, but I can read in French a little bit. What makes you love a book? I love a book if I don't want to put it down and I read it in one sitting, and I'm invested in the characters so much that I don't want the story to end at all. What will inspire you to recommend a book? Probably if it touches me some way. Favorite genre to read? Young adult fiction. Genre you rarely read but wish you did. I think I wish I read more about religion and just ancient world, like mythology. Favorite biography? I've read a lot of biographies. I read about a lot of journalists, and I read the Audition by Barbara Walters. Unbelievably good book. Have you ever read a self-help book? Yeah. They're useless, I think. Favorite cookbook? I have a vegetarian cookbook. Most inspirational book you've read this year? I'm not going to say for this year, but I'm going to say the most inspirational book I've ever read is Eat, Pray, Love. And I read it about 2.5 years ago. And the book, I remember reading it, I was sitting in a classroom. I was about to finally graduate, after 5 years, almost 5.5 years of being in college, going to school in 3 states and going to 5 schools. My teacher saw me reading that book, and he was in his mid-60s, and he said, I'm glad you're reading that book, you'll learn something about yourself. And that's an understatement, because the fact that a man in his 60s could learn something from a book that a girl in her, I was only at the time 22, learned something from too. So, am I glad that the movie's, out? I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, but I think it kind of ruins the book to me when it becomes something, because when you read a book that affects you like that, you have a vision in your head, and if you see the movie and it's not that vision, it ruins it for you. But that's just me. Favorite reading snack? I don't really snack when I read. I'm kind of like really serious when I read. Name a case in which hype ruins your reading experience. Twilight series. The hype of it ruined it for me. How often do you agree with critics about a book? Not often. I think a lot of the books that I like are books that aren't discovered till, way after someone finally realizes, wow, this is a good book. I read books long before they become films. It always happens. I'm going to break this off right now, so please follow me to part 2. Bye.